What's up, world, and welcome to Running Back Podcast. I'm your boy Javi.
I'm Omega Green. D-Lo here.
We got Cha Cha in the building, double C, double H, double A, taking you all the way with the running back. Fresh flavor, new recipe. So stay tuned because it's going to be real tasty.
Fangling good.
Yay.
Welcome back, everybody, to The Rib.
Yeah.
First of all, Cha-Cha, how you feeling, man?
I feel good. I feel great. Had a long week, but it's going to be even longer next week, but I'm built for this. So
What you got going on?
Vacation Bible School.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna be one with the Lord this week.
Doing the God's work.
Yeah, I'll be working with the youth, high schoolers. So on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday we're having a carnival on the church site. So
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I remember doing that after
Yeah.
Vacation Bible School.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
it's gonna be from 6 to 10. So
Nostalgic. Is that an invite?
come on down. I don't know what the yeah, come as you
What's
are.
that face for, Omega?
Huh? What?
What's that face for? What is that?
No,
You
my
made a
eyes
face.
are fucking dry.
Oh, okay. But anyway, back to Cha-Cha. What was
But
that?
yeah, but that's I'm good. I'm good. I'm having a good week. What about you, Harvey? What's your week?
My
like?
week has been long.
Yes. Joint Commission came in. You have you on
Again,
eggshells. What
and
is
then
that
they're coming
about?
back in October or September for 2 weeks.
It's like they looking for something.
They are
man.
hunting,
They're
but
trying
it's
to-
mostly with the hospital,
for real.
like their paperwork and stuff.
They came to my department too. They came to the clinics, not to my. I'm in the research building, so it's the other two buildings.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So they came back and they looked at a couple of places, all of them being mine, and
Nice.
it went. They left.
Joint Commission
Things
be
were
making
done.
sure everything's running like it's supposed to, like
Yeah.
like you wear what you're supposed to wear, like your badge on the right way or
Right.
at all. Plus, you know how they have that little card with code red. Code
Yeah,
red, what it's-
you
it's-
better know it
Yeah,
if you don't know it, you better have it on your person.
on your And
Absolutely.
I looked down to find
Yeah,
to
I
see
know,
my
right?
badges there.
Yeah, mine is in
But
the car.
My week has been long. It's been good. It's been long, and I moved while this was happening.
Bravo.
Oh, yeah.
So I officially live alone until Nate decides that we are going to. Well, not Nate. Oh, the applause. Oh, the applause.
Bravo.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But not
Solo
if he
artist in the
decides.
building.
But not if he decides. But when he decides. But when we decide that it's right to integrate our relationship into one place,
Yeah.
then we'll go there. But for
Yeah.
now, it's me and little Ruru, and I'm loving the new place. But I need a couch
Yeah.
real bad. I got everything but a couch, and I need a couch. But I'm on a manhunt, so everything else has been all right. Work has been rough, though. I will say that.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Omega, how you feeling?
I'm
Why I
doing
say
alright,
it like
man.
that?
I don't know.
Omega, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. The usual. Tired. Stay busy. Doing my thing. Working. Coming home.
Get money.
Yup.
He's very monochromatic.
right
now,
you really don't know. Got that robot
say
voice
what?
on.
He's
Yeah.
gonna say it anyways.
Yeah, happy, sad, it's all the same.
You know. But,
Do you even laugh?
Me?
Have I? I don't know if I've even heard you laugh. What does this laugh sound like, y'all? Oh no! Yeah, it all makes sense now, right?
If y'all don't know, Omega's very melodramatic. You
Am
are
I?
very melodramatic.
No.
uh,
He's more just mellow.
He's just mellow.
Yeah, he's just mellow, period.
Yeah.
Ever since I know this cat since high school, he's just been mellow.
No, he is very melodramatic. Don't even front. Like we walked into all this new equipment. He was like, "Nice,"
Yeah, no, it's his mellow self. He's just like, oh, yeah.
but that's just dramatics. That's the mellow part of the dramatics too. But anyways,
But yeah, I can't complain at this point. Shit's going all right. Kind of doing my thing, handling business. You know what I'm saying?
No.
how's work or works? How those go?
It's going all right.
The balance good?
No. I mean,
Are you sleep deprived?
Yes. and just it. Okay, consumes more time than I initially thought that it would.
Mm.
It's not a huge deal, at least right now, but over long term
Yeah.
duration, I don't want to stagnate. So, everything
Choices will be made.
exactly everything is serving its point right now, but depending on how things pan out, I gotta focus on my goals to get to where I want to be. I can't
Facts.
just become content and be like, oh, I'm gonna do this now. No, I gotta figure out how to move forward. Leaps and bounds, my
Yeah.
man. Leaps and bounds.
I know that's right.
Because I'm getting older and
Yeah.
gotta happen. It's gotta happen.
You know,
Yeah.
right? And them bills are not gonna stop.
Facts.
Right.
I wish they
And
would.
they
though.
don't stop at all.
They don't.
Can't stop.
They
Can't stop.
sometimes
Right.
accumulate.
See, I laughed.
Oh, I didn't even
Got
notice.
him.
Damn.
See,
See,
Run
it back.
You gotta run it back.
It's-
right?
it's the
we
mellow
gotta run it, we
effect.
gotta run it
All you gotta
back.
do is when this post, rewind it a
I'm
little bit,
all
and you'll
over
hear
it.
it.
I am all over
You'll
it.
hear it in his voice.
Yeah.
But that's me though. D, how you doing, bro?
Um,
Ooh, that was a deep sigh.
it was a long week.
Yeah, one
Um,
of those.
We went to Florida over the weekend.
Oh shit, that is a long.
I
one.
seen
um,
I seen videos and pictures of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom, she had her master's graduation.
Hey,
Congratulations,
congrats.
Mom.
Yay.
So,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It was a really good weekend. You
Yeah.
know, I had to grill in the rain.
I know. You were into
Hey,
it.
I
though.
was in it though.
Yes.
It's like I told my mom. I had the meat already prepped. There was nothing stopping me.
You should
know
have
what I
saw
mean?
him with the little towel over his
Yeah,
head.
like it was. They probably was sitting there. The people around us was probably like, "Damn, this Kentucky boy sitting there
Yeah.
grilling out in the rain."
With the
better than
flops
me.
on.
That's what they were saying.
He had
better
the
than me.
slides on.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He had them
Um,
flop slides on with the socks. I'm like, you could at least suck the socks off, let them toes get some water on them.
Man, I was going to, but I was in my head grilling on the, and I was like, man, I had to flip this shit, you know. So,
Facts.
Yeah.
Man, y'all should have came down at the running back barbecue in the rain.
Exactly. Barbecue sauce for days.
And
The-
we wasn't even invited, but it's like I
Hey,
Alright,
well, we
that's
was in Florida. We was
Next
in
day,
Orlando,
next
so
day.
we're gonna have to take a running back trip. So
okay.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
Somewhere, sometime.
somewhere, sometime,
Somehow.
Yeah.
same bad
wants
same
to
bad time, same
Same
bad
bad-
station.
Yes, back
Who
channel.
wants to sponsor our next trip?
But
We'll bring you with us to America.
on the way back was a different story. We're not going to get into that because it was a sore subject. But all in all, it was a good weekend.
Hey.
So I'm just kind of coming off the feelings of the way back because
Okay.
it got a little heated. So yeah. Other than that, work was pretty good.
Hold on, because now I want another team. The listeners want another team.
I will not. There's some choice of words that I told my mom that the way I'm going to bear the hatchet is to just
let it die.
let it die.
Facts. All right. And moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but this weekend, like today, we're recording on a Sunday on Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day, America.
Yes, sir.
Father's Day.
But today we had Tara's grandmother's great grandmother's birthday on her dad's side.
Right.
So it ended up being a good day. Yesterday though, what me and Omega went down to the No Kings protest.
Okay.
So
That was pretty nice.
the prompt that I asked to y'all and everybody else,
The world.
is this America? Is this the American dream? When everybody came over, was this it? So give that a minute, let that sink in, and we'll be back. All right, everybody. So, like I said, is this America? Is this like what? So, we're going to start with what do you think when this was an idea what was the American dream?
Now, are you referring to like when Columbus came over, or are you talking
Yeah.
about like in when we split from
Great
England?
Britain.
Yeah.
Got our
Yeah.
independence.
So that's basically it.
Yeah,
Like when we split
so-
through Great Britain, like I'm Irish, so when my Irish settlers came over,
Yeah.
they were basically looking for a better
A better life
better life than what they had.
outside of the potato famine
Right.
and whatnot. Yeah.
Mhm.
So what do y'all think?
I think the American dream is there's an idea, but it means potentially something different to many people. To the founders, the American dream or idea was one thing, which is completely different from how we have received it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So for me, generally, the American dream is being able to have room for advancement, and that's in many departments. But a lot of people feel that the other side really hasn't kept their end. You know, if you
I like that. I like that.
if you work hard,
Now let me ask you, because when you say the other side,
well, basically like there is
because
or-
depending on the spectrum, you have different
Yeah.
sides. You
Well,
know, you have the like
It doesn't-
nowadays you even have the three sides. Like
Well,
you have the
I
Democratic,
don't,
the
well,
Republican.
I'm
and
not
all that.
referring really to political parties. I'm referring more to like the government largesse, because they're had always been pitched to us for however many years, even probably prior to our generation, a little bit
Yeah.
before our time, is that like, yeah, there is an spoken or unspoken, what have you, agreement to be like, yo, if you work hard, you study, you know, you do the right thing, then there will be room for you to advance. But as time has gone on, regardless of people doing, you know, quote unquote, all the right things, the results are, you know, certainly not guaranteed, which they
Right.
never are. But it's like where there was broad room in the past for opportunity, that window over time has shrunk for a number of different reasons. But, you know, that's just my interpretation of it.
Right.
So what's the question again? What's real quick? Because I want to make sure I say this right.
Was the American dream?
Is it what it is today? Is it
What
it is?
what do you think that? What do you think when the American dream was started with the founding fathers so far?
So, like, are we living the American dream?
right?
Did you think the American dream still holding up?
I'm gonna say yes and no. Just because it's like you said, it's just like you both said, it's just so many different windows. I mean, think about it, because this is like a revolving door. I mean, when we gained our independence, they had to come up with a constitution, you know, so the country would be ran fairly. Everyone didn't agree with that.
Right.
You know, and then there you have the Civil War moving forward.
Yeah.
And, you know, fighting for the rights of a certain group of people. And even after that, there still had to be ratifications,
Yeah.
acts put into place to continue to ensure that. And there was a certain group of people that still didn't agree with that. And as you see it today, it's still just that. It's still just that when you think that you put certain negativities out, throw it out, and you think that this country is moving forward, there's a certain person or certain people that can infiltrate the system and use it for their good, and have their own hidden agendas. And when they have those hidden agendas, they can bring in a certain group of people who felt that same way already, but it was just hidden. it was just hidden. So now, with the right people in place, they can show their true colors. And so it's all just a revolving door. It's all being done again. So yes, we're still living the American dream. The issue is now is the ability to sustain it right now. I just think right now that there's a lot of that that's being questioned, including, not following constitutional orders and, orders from the federal judge. Well, not constitutional orders, I'm sorry. The Constitution itself. There's just things that such as due process.
Yeah.
Such
Right.
as due process. And so, and that was to keep the people that had their own agenda from saying, you know what, you can live the American dream if you are built a certain way, if you look a certain way, if you act a certain way.
Right.
The Constitution and with due process, and it has to, and you have these amendments because over time it had to be changed. That's why you have the First Amendment,
Yeah.
Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, whatever.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to what I was saying, is that in the beginning, to them, to the founders, what have you, they probably saw the American dream as just being able to have an America.
Right.
Whereas opposed to us, or at least I know, like my generation, I feel like it's more tied to the opportunities for socioeconomic advancement.
Right.
Right. So, what do you think, Javi?
I don't think that what we have now is anywhere close to the American dream for anybody. Even if you are wealthy, it's still not the American dream, because the American dream is for you to be happy, healthy, and thriving as a society. And we're not.
Right.
Everybody's in shambles, regardless if you think you got the money to do this or do that. Everybody's living a disaster of an America. Is what we're living now.
But the
To me-
wealthy have the ability to live it out still.
Yeah, they
Right.
can withstand it.
Right.
Right. So, the reason I bring this up is because, like I said, me and Omega Green on Saturday, we got to go down to the Lexington protest for the No King,
Yeah,
The No Kings
Um,
protest.
yeah, downtown Lexington.
which if y'all want to see the videos and pictures, there are some on our Facebook.
Yes, going over to our Facebook page,
Yes.
Yeah.
the Running Back Podcast.
Yes. So
It was pretty live.
yeah. Now our end was, it was a good protest. It was good, peaceful. You see the cops there, but the cops they was just hanging back. It was mainly bike cops that was there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So what was the purpose of this protest? What is the what are they
Well,
what were
it's
you all protesting?
It was kind of an overlap, because the whole No King's Day, just celebrating, I guess, the fact that we are a democracy.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
And with the ISIS, with the
ICE agents.
yeah,
doing what they
agents doing what they doing.
So what really made it a thing, besides those 2 points, is that Donald Trump plans to have this big elaborate parade
right.
festival for his
Yeah.
birthday.
That part.
Yeah, we
And-
was about to get in that.
But there's
Yeah.
also an overlap there.
Yeah.
because it was,
That's why I
it-
said
yeah,
including
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that
Yeah.
kind of heightened it to the
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
extreme
Yeah,
of where it is
absolutely.
now.
So in LA, when they did their protest, Donald Trump called in the National Guard and the Marines. And
Civil
then
unrest was
and-
unrest as fuck.
yeah, and then it was
Horrible.
so basically the National Guard and the Marines were supposed to assist the local police, and Donald Trump came out and was like, well, the local police begged us to step in.
Which is bullshit.
And the local police
'Cause it
came
was
out and said
peaceful
that
at
they're
first, right?
well, the local
Yeah.
police said that they was gonna have to go through channels and do other things before they can even think of calling the governor for National Guard.
Feelings over
Yeah.
facts again.
It was
So, I
Trump.
mean, it doesn't matter how
Yeah.
you feel. You know,
Well,
It was
yeah,
Trump's
it's
call.
Well, yeah, it was about optics
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
He wanted to put fear into people's hearts.
yeah.
So
but it's still,
I
it was
kind
all
of
in a relatively small area.
Yeah.
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 But
And-
it's actually, I mean, in a sense, it's kind of worked because like now people are fear of doing these things or big crowds of doing these things because now you have your own people turning against you. That's the big thing about it. Like he didn't like it wasn't like overseas people came and was trying to regulate. It was your brother
Yeah.
No.
over in California
And you
looking
can be
at
detained.
looking at somebody that potentially could be your friend in the future or could have been a family member. You don't know. Like
Yeah.
And the
They have
in
the
your own
authority to just
backyard.
detain you now, just snatch you up.
so
If they just say you know what,
Yeah.
going against
I really want to ask our co-host that is a veteran, Cha Cha.
yes.
Do you agree with the Marines and the National Guard?
and then I have a
backup?
follow-up question
no,
after that.
I do not. I don't agree. I don't agree because the fact of the matter is you know, it shouldn't have had to come to that. They should, you know, and so let me say, I'm not going to say yes or no. What I'm going to say is that the governor should have had the say so in that.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
And
right,
so,
right.
But and so at that point, then they should not. I don't think it was to that point.
So-
I don't think it was to the point to bring in the National Guard and the Marines.
Yeah, it was
No.
it was a state level
That was
decision.
So my
that's
follow-up
ridiculous.
question for you is, seeing that you've been in service before, on whatever capacity it was, if
I don't brag about.
if you were ordered to do what they were ordered to do, would you do it? I mean, I think I know
There
that
are
question. I think
conscientious objection
yeah,
forms. that-
It's-
yeah, but you would you be like, oh, I don't have a choice? Is it like for
Yeah,
that, like,
it is that. It is
or I can go to jail?
right.
Yeah.
And that yeah. Depending on the circumstances of who's all affected by it.
Yeah,
With me,
if it was just you
yeah,
backing
I
out,
could
but
pull
if it was the
I
whole
could pull a
unit,
Muhammad Ali. I could do it.
yeah, if it was
I
the
could do
whole
it.
unit doing it, that would be a different story.
Yeah.
But if it's just you, they'd be like, oh shit, throw him in the brig, we're good.
I can live with that because at the end of the day, more than likely, what they're going to do is they're just and if National Guardsmen, I can live with that. You know, they discharge me, could be dishonorable.
Yeah,
At that point, I wouldn't care because I wouldn't believe
it would
in
be
what I'm-
dishonorable for
my
what you're
purpose.
doing.
Well,
Yeah,
I wouldn't believe in this is not what I signed up for. So
right.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, and to bring it back to your point, I know you was like, I don't really brag on it. And it wasn't nothing to brag about. It was just more or less
Right.
getting your opinion on it since you
Your
have
insight.
served.
yeah,
Yeah.
It just because there has been people that have spoken out that have served, and it's been mixed feelings.
Yeah.
But
you
I
know, you
also
got
did a
people that
couple of-
for it, then
I
you got
do.
people that
1, 2,
are
3,
way
4,
against it.
thematic.
I do, and because I don't want to disrespect, you know, my fellow servicemen. You know,
Right.
because if I had a chance to do it all over again, I would not have enlisted. And it did not take me long. You know, I did 4 years. And within those 4 years, because you got to remember, I came up in a socially conscious era.
Mhm.
The Fight the Power era with Public Enemy and
Yeah.
you know, Boogie Down Productions with KRS-One.
Man.
And there was a lot of socially conscious rap, hip hop out there. And at that time, I was when I first joined, I wasn't even 20 yet, 21. I think I joined at 18, 19. So
Oh, so you were super young when you.
Yeah.
yeah, I went straight out of high school, and so but once I got a chance to get out of Kentucky and meet different people and different point of views and just understand the way the government works and then just going through some of the things that I went through, how the government is able to manipulate the system. I learned that early, and so I had a chance to do it all over again. In fact, I'm bold enough to say, if you have a choice to enlist, don't do it. I don't agree. I don't agree. I mean, it's a great experience. Don't get me wrong. It's a great experience. You meet great people, but
You can do that at the club on a Thursday night with a cocktail in your hand,
yes.
feeling your pussy,
and you know,
and that's on God.
yeah.
This episode is explicit.
You
Yes,
know,
it is.
And it makes me think one more thing, and because I wanted to say that earlier, but what I was speaking on earlier about the American dream, I also think that this is a very arrogant country. This is a very arrogant country.
Yes.
I think when they
Yes.
when they were doing the Constitution and they were saying, you know what, we want everybody that wants to come here to live a better life. You know, by all means, we want to give you that opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But within that framework, they also were trying to add, because we're the greatest country in the world, and they still trying to live by that creed. And
Yeah.
everybody doesn't think that. Everybody doesn't think that communism sucks. You know, there's people that, you know, that back in the 80s, that spoke on that you know, left here and went to Russia and lived and was like, I'm never going back to capitalism. You know, it's just, you know, but, and then you have Donald Trump that is passing that same message, and then it was something that was to be understood.
Yeah.
They didn't say it. It was just one of those things with opportunity. If you have an opportunity to do better than where you are, then you that automatically makes you feel like, well, this country has got to be better.
Right.
But it was never something that was said.
Yeah.
You know, it might say this is a great country, but it wouldn't say we were the greatest country in the world.
Right.
But now that's just what it is. And these people, it's a cult thing now. And he's
Yeah.
able to push that
Ooh,
narrative.
you said it.
Well, I
You
mean,
said
like
it.
the idea, the whole American exceptionalism
Yes.
type deal, to where, like, even as a kid growing up, I was like, well, I mean, I get it. I do, because we've done some amazing things in our time. But at the same time, too, I'm like, well, if you were born in X country, you'd be like, I think X country is pretty great.
Yeah.
You know, or unless you got it real bad.
Right.
But most people, like, you have that kind of like cheerleading for the
Yeah.
place that you're from. But we take shit to a whole other level.
Oh my gosh.
But I digress.
You know what I mean, let's be real. I mean, it hasn't been great for everybody. It
Right.
has
Oh,
not.
yeah.
This country
Exactly.
has not, throughout history and today, has not been
Again,
great for people.
what-
Everybody.
What makes
What they
me so
meant
mad
it to be.
is I've been in this country my entire life, and a person can come over here and just get it because of the color of their skin.
Right. And
No.
you speaking that in a negative, with the negativity in a negative way, they can get it. And I was going to speak on that, because that's the
And
thing.
but then on the other end, you have people that come over here and have to work their ass off
Right.
Yeah.
to get it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like the whole thing with the farmers that they've been plucking off the fields.
Mm-hmm.
right.
You know, and then he came out and was like, "Oh, well, we need the farmers, we need the
Now-
hotel workers."
But there was a certain class of farmers now.
Yeah.
There was a certain class, a certain race. I mean, a
Yeah.
certain race.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, no, this is not the American dream. This,
No.
Right.
this is not America. This isn't the America that it's supposed to be, or the America that they teach us about, or the America that we on our own learn about. This
Yeah,
is not.
'cause I mean,
think
everybody-
a lot of it.
It's more of an American vision more than an American
Well,
dream.
you take it from like
because-
the Pledge of Allegiance, right?
right.
That's a
Liberty.
completely different America.
Well, exactly. But if we're kind of sold these ideals, and we're told that that's like who we are, how it is, and how it should be, you know.
I think people are waking up to see that that's not what it is anymore.
Well, yeah,
Well,
because now it's
yeah.
gotten to the point to where it's affecting most people.
Yeah,
see, but
even
then
the
again-
people that were rooting
yeah,
for
but
the
they-
other side.
But
Yeah.
the ones that's being affected now, it's impacting them, but they didn't care about the outcome when it
Before,
wasn't
yeah.
impacting
Well,
them.
That part.
because-
but that is a prevalent mindset in our society.
So, right. And so here's the thing. America's supposed to be, you know, whatever my struggle is, I should be able to speak on it
right.
and not be ostracized for it, because, you know, me as a black man, and I don't want to bring race into this,
It
but I'm
is
going to
a
give an
big part.
example. I'm going to give it. Let me just speak, you know, for example, say something like, you know, like the military, you know, life, you know, life was not good for it wasn't the greatest country for everybody, you know, and I can go down the line of some of my struggles growing up
Facts.
being black. And you know what? Some people may say, well, if you don't like it, go back to Africa. I wasn't born in Africa,
Right.
but why can you not acknowledge my plight instead of knocking me because I said America's not great? And that's the struggle, and that's not supposed to be the American dream.
Right.
It's supposed to be freedom of speech, being able to come together. And that's why they have that, the whole melting pot with the Statue of Liberty. And it's not that. So like you said, it's not the American.
I think the American dream now is survival.
Yes.
And then, first of all, that whole statement on "go back to your country" is really irritating because I mean
Honey.
all of us are not
The
from
only
here.
person you can't say that to is an Indian.
right, the
Right.
Native American.
Right.
That too.
right.
Oh yeah, because Indians are
yeah,
from
yeah,
India,
yeah,
Native
yeah,
American.
right. Understood.
So,
And to be honest with you, they kind of chocolate too. So
Oh, they-
we good.
but
yeah.
but so
Chocolate was
it-
already in the building.
So you,
Yeah.
I mean, the people that think like that, they can go back to English, Irish, Welsh, Germany,
Canada.
Yeah, but that's the thing. And that goes back to the arrogance.
Exactly.
That's the arrogance because, like I said, instead of hearing me out, all they heard was negativity about America. I love America, but there's some things about America I wish would change, and that's all I would be saying. And
Exactly.
and that's
Yeah.
what
We'll
a
be
lot
screaming.
of people are saying.
We'll
Yeah,
be
it's like-
screaming equal opportunity until
Yeah,
this
and-
rock splits in two.
And they say
Right.
if you don't like it, then just go back. Leave the country, and it's not even about that.
And I'm thinking about it.
But here's the thing about it though. Here's the most interesting thing. If once again, me as a black man, if I speak on my plight and what I think should be done, I'm not just speaking for my race. I'm speaking for everybody of any race that's going through what I've gone
Yes.
through. And
Because-
because they feel like that, a certain class or a certain race of people feel like, well, we don't deal with that. We don't have to deal with that. So you deal with it and don't bring it to us. No, there's some people
Yeah.
of your race that are going through it because I talk to them and so I know, but I don't have to bring them into it. You
Survey
should just
says-
understand.
So it's kind of like the my thing with the whole protest right now. Like you have, people talking about this no king in America. The way the ISIS has been
You keep
doing
calling
things.
them ISIS,
I know
ICE agents.
ICE agents.
Oh, I thought you said the way ice is.
No,
No,
well,
you keep saying-
I
okay,
thought he was saying ISIS, like the terrorist.
Yeah.
group.
okay. So ICE agents
Are.
There you
are
go.
okay.
Yeah.
So the way they are,
ISIS is.
so the way they are, the way they're handling things,
It's wrong.
it's wrong, and I don't think it's right for them to call the National Guard in for them and the Marines in for the. I don't
To
think.
protect
I don't.
them.
I honestly don't even think that the Marines or any type of armed forces to be called on
Domestic
land unless there's a
Something crazy.
Foreign.
something really foreign
a
crazy.
foreign threat
Yeah,
or
yeah.
domestic terrorism.
But you can have the Proud Boys,
But
and
didn't
you
he
can
call it
have
something?
the
Insurrection. He instated the
Yeah.
Insurrection Act.
which he created.
Yes.
But so you can have
This man is a whole comic book
yeah.
character.
So you can have
Mojo Jojo.
so you can have the Proud Boys, and you can have Nazis and KKK organizations march through cities,
yeah.
which I honestly think that they should be on the domestic terrorist list
Facts.
because they terrorize.
Know what they're capable of. We know what they're
Yeah.
capable of. Point
So,
blank.
but they can do it, and nothing gets caught on them.
Right. And that's their American dream. That's what I'm saying. And that's their American
Yeah.
dream. That the ability, and just like ICE agents, and if you, I don't know if you all remember, but
ISIS. I'll play.
ICE agents. I said ICE agents.
I had to since y'all calling me out on the way I
No,
talk.
I
It's
just
cool.
didn't
It's
want. I just
cool.
don't want America to be confused.
Nah,
but
yeah, right.
but if you,
Bro, America is
a
always
few
confused.
episodes back last season, I had a thought of the day about watch how you move. Remember, I spoke
Yeah.
on how this is, because they're getting to a point to where they can take you to jail without just cause, and so and I remember it vaguely, and it might have been this season. It might have been early in the season where I said, watch how you move. It's okay to don't lose your integrity, but you may have to go ahead and put your hands up. You might have to
Yeah.
do what they say, even
I
if it's
remember that.
unconstitutional. And this is where we are today. And so now it's even worse because you get all over the internet and you see the ICE agents, they're actually running up into places and they might not even be real ICE agents. They
At
say
this
they
point,
are.
it's the police too. At this
Right.
point, it's all law
Well, they're
enforcement.
and they
snatching-
taking your stuff.
There's-
Y'all need to watch that movie Straw.
They
Y'all
taking
need to
your
watch
stuff.
it.
Well, because no one
There's-
there's a lot of confusion. A lot of times people don't know exactly what's
You
going
need to watch
on.
Straw.
Well,
So
they
it's-
don't know what they're looking for because they're snatching people that's coming out of their citizen court dates.
Immigration.
Yeah, like they're snatching people out of the court.
When they're doing it the right way.
right.
Yeah, their court date. And that's just ridiculous.
And this is the one thing that I will speak on type of family, and I will mention it. My stepfather, he's from the Philippines,
right.
and he is on the Republican side.
Right.
against his own interests.
But he's sitting there talking about that, like, because me and him did get into an argument about the whole immigration thing, because he said that he's been here for 30 years, 40 years, and
Snatch him.
so and he's been a citizen. But my thing is I've known some illegal immigrants that were really good people,
They coming to snatch you, D-Lo.
but
They can come and get him now, and that's what he needs to understand.
But
He's got to prove it now.
but the thing is, the difference between him and the people now is when he came in, there was less rules and
Regulation.
regulations that he had to go through.
Right.
Like right now, do you know it actually costs $20,000 to get the process going on citizenship? $20,000. That is almost a down payment on a house and a payment for a car.
Right.
Yeah, exactly, man. But I think like that, getting to the core of everything, as we've seen it over the years, the real issue at hand is fixing the immigration system.
Right.
Not like we have this problem. People talk about it like, oh, there's illegals, blah, blah, blah. But it's like they're here looking for a better life and they just ended up here. So now a lot of them are just in limbo,
Right.
where it's like, if there's no pathway for them, then how the hell can you really address it? They're
Right.
trying to do it in a really abrupt, inhumane way.
Because
now.
Trump's like, I got a pathway for you,
Well,
right back to your motherland.
I want to address your stepdad real quick, because I actually spoke on this too. I spoke on this on I
He don't
commented.
listen.
I commented on it. I didn't. I spoke on it too. But I posted something on Facebook. But my thing is, and I understand where he's coming from. I don't agree with with what he thinks, because what he's basically saying in a nutshell is, I got mine, you get yours.
Yeah.
That's all he's saying, and that sucks, because and like the Latinos, the Latino race,
Right.
and the Cubans or whomever, they've been doing it for years. They did it when Trump his first term, when he ran against Hillary, and that's when I said it. I'm like, oh, so just because you went through the process and you made it, now you want to shit on your own people. I said, and that's not cool. And that's
Yeah.
and so just
especially
because you
if
made
shit's
it,
more restrictive now.
yeah, right. And but they don't care about that. I mean,
But
the
let that
ones-
have been his sister, his brother, his
Right.
mama.
Yeah.
right. But today what they're saying is that their thought process is, well, they'll get a fair chance because they're not rapists, thieves
Hell,
and
he's
criminals
accusing
and
everybody of that
gangbangers.
at this
Yeah,
point.
Yeah, and they thought that that's what it was going to be limited to, but we tried to tell you, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that kind of grinds my gears, that just because you got yours, and that's all races.
Okay, Peter Griffin.
I know. I was getting ready to say that myself.
Grind ball. Wow. Is that where I got that from?
Yeah, you grind my gears.
That was it.
You know what really grinds
That really that really I remember now. America was not trying to be with a Peter Griffin. I wasn't trying to create a Peter Griffin segment, but I
Yeah,
get it. But
was.
let me say,
Nah,
but
but
then let
that's
me say,
legit,
yeah.
though. I
Yeah,
mean,
that really pisses me off. Then that really pissed me off, because it does. It's just not cool. Just because you got yours, you think that you're better than them. because you could have been, you wasn't always where you were. You were an
Facts.
immigrant at one time.
Big
And
facts.
you wanted a fair opportunity, and you
And your
got
mama
that. And
would
so
too.
now somebody else wants the same thing, and somebody comes along and says, you know what, we have too many of them here. They need to go back to where they came from, and you're okay with that. And I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, especially over time, circumstances have changed. And I think
exactly.
in a lot of ways, outside of immigration too, a lot of people refuse to acknowledge that
Right.
because they just have in a mindset, I guess they live in the past, want to.
Well, they're not doing their homework. They're not doing their research. I mean, I seen somebody on the internet that said that "Make America Great Again" was a policy that Trump implemented, and it is not. It's not.
Yeah.
You know, so they just not doing. They believe what they want, and they're not doing their research. And that's what it's going to take to get an understanding.
Well, they're doing research, but their research is always right. And when it's something that you bring up that's not, that they don't think it's right, or they don't think it's facts,
You
they
made
s-
it up.
Yeah,
I don't know that they
it's
even-
fake news.
Back-
I don't know that they are even like getting facts. I think
They're
just
not.
making
No, they're
shit up
not.
as they go at this point.
Like,
Yeah,
there's a
I
certain,
agree.
there's a certain
Definitely.
person that I like. I won't say his name. I'll bring him on another. I'm gonna when I have an opportunity in the future, I'm gonna play one of his interactions.
P Diddy.
No.
I'm just playing.
Oh, boy. Don't you do it, boy. Like, oh, hell no.
We gonna have a P Diddy Meek Mills
I ain't
live.
got no, yeah,
on
I
this
don't
motherfucker.
I'll say his name, bro. I'll say his name. I don't want to say it wrong. Dean Withers. I think it's Wither or Withers. But he's a young dude. He's in his early 20s, mid 20s, and he challenges, you know, Trump supporters, and he does a really good job. He does his research, and the ones that call into his show, you can tell that they haven't done their research. They just haven't. They just go by what Trump says or what the Republican Party says. You know, there's a
That's
lot of
that
stuff that
cult,
they
like-
believe.
That's that cult like behavior you were talking about.
Cult, yes. Because that's why, and I got it from him.
It's the cult of
I
Trump.
got it from him. When somebody was, you know, they said, you know, because they'll say stuff like a felon should not be allowed to come in this country and should not be able to work. And then when he says, well, what about Trump? And they say, well, he's not a felon, but it's court documented. He's got 34 felonies. Oh, he didn't get convicted, and then he'll say, oh,
Sure.
you're
Well, yeah.
part of the code. You're part of the code because
It
it's
becomes circumstantial at that point.
exactly. And I mean, facts are facts, and you can look it up. And so they refuse to believe it, and that's crazy. But like I said, back to what you were saying, your stepdad, and just and the Latinos for I just seen where one a Cuban that was he brought a bunch of people together, Latinos for Trump.
Yeah.
He just got deported. You know, he just got deported. He was pro Trump, and they got him too.
He getting his own people up out of here too.
Yeah, it's exactly what he did, and so I mean, and it's crazy, and once again, there was a lot behind that. It wasn't only believing in what Trump said, but it was the fact that a black woman was running for president. They didn't want that, and they've said it. I've heard them say it, so I'm not making this up. I'm only going by what I've heard. That was a problem too. So they were going to go against their own agenda, no matter, you know, what she said, because she told them this was going to happen. Kamala Harris, she told them it was going to happen, but they
Period.
they said we don't want.
She literally lined out for
Yeah,
everybody
but
what was
gonna
about to happen.
And they said, I just could not see a black woman.
And not even
running our
that, but
president.
Trump is also talking trash about Tim Walz.
Oh,
Because he he wanted to give his condolences about the
Talking about the assassination
Yeah.
today. Oh, yeah. With everything that had happened in the past, like what, day or so?
Okay.
Yeah, they're trying to like flip it on them, because I saw other people and like different posts people were making. They're like, it's a coincidence and it's very suspicious. And I'm like,
So what is it? A Senate? Was it in the Senate or the
Yeah, what happened?
Republican?
Tell me what
Or was it
happened?
the House that these two Congress people got murdered?
I got to be completely honest. I'm not
don't
sure.
worry. Don't worry. I'm going to
what I-
talk about that.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk
Yeah.
about it.
So
talk about
yeah. but so apparently there was some Congress people that got shot. Two.
One of which
It
died.
was 4. It was 2 that died and 2 that lived. It was 2 that died. It was a husband and wife that died, and then a husband and wife that he tried to kill or unalive, but they survived.
Yeah. So
They're
they
going to be coming out. Then they actually probably, and you see it on the news. They're supposed to have had a press conference like at 5:30. Well, maybe about the suspect as well. But yeah, they're able to speak and stuff now.
Yeah, so tune in to Let's Talk About It to figure out what's going on with
I've
this.
done my research on that. So yeah, that's coming up later on in the week, America. But we gonna I'm gonna be able to enlighten you all with that. You know, I'll be able to talk about it with you. So yeah, tune in to Let's Talk About It later on in the week, and I'll have all of that for you.
I heard it will affect the majorities
Yeah.
in the chambers.
But so
wait a minute. You were saying Trump though had a problem with him trying
yeah,
to.
so he came out and made a statement, and then he tried to flip it, saying whatever happened in LA, was happening in Minnesota under Tim Walz's account as a governor, and then he tried to become vice president. Trying to do everything he can.
That's all he knows.
Yeah.
That's all he knows. You know what? You can use the same form of conversation. Trump can give the same answers for any question that you throw out there.
It's easy when you blame everybody else.
Right. And it'll be the same. It's the same answer. It's the same answer. You can ask him about anything in the world.
It's like this whole economy thing. Like when they say, he's like, oh, well, whatever bad happens, well, that's the Biden economy.
Yeah,
and whatever happens, whatever's good's happening is my economy.
Economy.
The economy.
He said that, y'all. He said that.
Well, but for real, when it comes
Grammar,
to things
please,
like
over
that,
here.
you get just very broad, general answers to where it's like, because I don't know if y'all. It's like,
hobby.
You good, bro?
I hear you, Omega. Keep going,
no,
man.
well,
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Hobby's over here interrupting. Go ahead.
He's gonna be all right. He'll be all right.
You falling asleep over there?
No, I'm not.
One.
He's all up in it, though.
It's just comfortable.
He is up
Y'all
in
like
it.
interrupting this man's banter. What was you saying, Omega?
Go ahead, Omega.
Now he lost it. See what y'all did? Period.
We were talking about Trump.
Blaming everybody but him.
Oh yeah, very generalized answers to where it's like they can ask him pointed questions and he says shit like, it might be good, it might be bad, it could be up, it could be down, and it's like you're just bullshitting. And as I have said in the past,
he dances.
Whenever he is in front of the cameras and he ever gets asked a pointed question, it reminds me very much of like a child in elementary school.
Oh my
when
gosh,
when you should have read that book for the book report. And you just stand up there and like,
bravo.
Yeah, that's
Bravo. Hit that. Yes.
And that's every time.
It is. I mean, and
so Trump, what do you think about, the first 100 days of the economy? Well,
it's great.
It's
been real great.
We're bouncing back from the horrible work that the Biden administration did. And we're going to do great things, and you're going to see billions and billions of surplus dollars come into
Trump's
the economy.
Pocket.
It's going to be amazing.
So Trump. So Trump. What is the what is your purpose about with these tariffs? You're not worried
Y'all
about
got
the
Cha-Cha
economy
started,
falling? Well.
What are you asking? We're going to make America great.
Cha-Cha on the One-Man Show.
We're going to do great things with these tariffs. America's going to see. We're going to bring in jobs because the Biden administration lost us trillions and put us trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. But when I raise these tariffs, it's going to bring in billions and billions of dollars, and America's going to see. We're going to make America great again, and they're going to love it. It's the same, like you said. He dances and he dances,
and that was said verbatim from his last address to the nation.
You just take a scoop out of some catchphrases, and I'm sure it's all going to stick.
For future reference, Cha-Cha on Broadway, One-Man Show, coming near you.
Yeah.
It's going to be called "Get This Work."
Get this work. Come get this work.
A Trump parody.
But
Come get this work.
But other than that, like I said, everybody has great points. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, we want to know what y'all think,
Yeah.
because y'all might think that Trump is doing right things. Let us know how
Well,
you feel.
and-
And I'm not going to throw shade at you in the comments.
Right.
Either, I
And the
promise.
thing about it is,
I'm
is
just
the,
going to scold
the
you.
original point was about America. Are we still living the American dream? And so when we move on to Trump, it's just about how he's affected what everybody thinks of the American dream and how they're living out their lives because he is he's a leader of the free world, supposedly.
And what does this mean for the future of the American dream?
We got 3 more years of hell. We got to tough it out.
I think- I
In
think
these next 3 years,
depending on-
we are
Sorry.
about to see this man become the king of America.
Let's hope not.
No, depending on how it goes, I think the American dream is up for reinterpretation.
It is.
It could go. It could be good. It could be bad.
It could be.
Survival. It is survival.
It's just that.
I think we
And
just changed the name of the episode to "It Could Be Good."
It could be bad.
Yeah, it could be good. It could be
America.
You know.
Bad. Yeah.
But yeah, so
Keep Obama's name out your mouth, Trump. Please.
Hey.
Keep
Oh,
Biden's name out your mouth,
Yeah.
Trump. We in month number 6. We're 6.5 months in, and you still talking about Biden and Trump. I mean, Biden and Obama.
This is
Let
how
it
your
go.
style, honey.
Let it go and do
Man.
what you said you was gonna do, Trump.
so
Man.
on that note, everybody, let us know what you think. Get in those comments. Let us know. Is the American dream alive for y'all?
And this is y'all's Trump episode for the month, because we ain't playing
Yeah,
this.
we don't
yeah,
do
we
that.
ain't doing
We
this.
don't promote him. We don't
We
do
ain't,
him.
we ain't doing this. We're not doing the
We
clout
not-
stuff.
yeah,
So
there's enough of that bull pucky
Y'all
going
heard
around.
about him in
Man.
another year.
This
Nah.
is Boulder Dash. This is a sham, a mockery, a shamockery.
Yeah, it's a bunch of malarkey.
It's a
bunch of malarkey. Yes,
Malarkey.
with
that's
that-
what it is. Bunch of malarkey.
malarkey.
All right.
All right, y'all.
He gets no airplay on the run it back. We're not giving him that much airtime. He got a little, but it's gonna be a while.
That's what she said. On that note, on that note, y'all have a great week. Stay tuned. We got Let's Talk About It, Pop It's Culture, The Green Room, and Sports Junkie Lounge
All
Y'all
this
just
week.
heard Papa's Culture Honey yesterday, but get into what's going on
Yeah.
today.
with
Yeah.
Cha Cha Side of the Week.
All of
Just
it.
top it all off. Yeah, it's
Yes.
a good one. So yeah, check us out all week and don't miss that thought of the week because you really need to hear it.
And don't miss
Like-
Papa's Culture, because it's going down.
It's going down.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all have a great weekend. Peace.
Hey.
Deuces.
Oh my God, I thought you was going to talk about the green room.